Hi, I'm Eric. It's been a while since I made a video, but I felt like I had to share this one with pretty much like the community or anyone that's interested in end time stuff, eschatology, or if you're a watchman, watchwoman, you'll know what I'm talking about. And I just want to before I show you, I want to talk about the Revelation 12 sign. I want to show you how that leads straight into the seals 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah, it does. And but I just wanted to quickly ex- explain like how I even like got into looking at stars, because I like it a lot. My brother got me interested into camping about 12 years ago, and he yeah, once he got me interested in that, it was yeah, I was buying camping books, got bought canoes, camping gear, read books, got maps. It was a lot of fun, but I started to backslide, and my priorities were I used to read the Bible a lot, and then I got away from it. I started looking at stars because we're camping up north. I'm from Canada, in Ontario, Canada. So when we go camping, we usually go north, and the light pollution is low, so the skies are black. You can see the stars really good, and I really enjoyed it. And so I got into looking at them, and when I'd come home, I wanted to continue to look at them. So I got the Sky Map app a few years back, and then eventually I got Stellarium when it came out, and that was after the Revelation 12 sign that I used Stellarium. But it was a Revelation 12 sign. I just read an article, and we actually at camp, I was talking about the Revelation 12 sign to everybody that we were camping with, asking if they heard about it. No one heard about it. And so I told them a little bit about it and waited for it. And, September 23rd came, 2017. It came and went, and waited even to Christmas, and nothing. But I started reading the Bible more again, though, because I, I felt there might be something there. I was watching videos with the watchmen, watch women, and yeah, there's a whole community out there of people looking for the rapture, the pre-tribulation rapture of the church, and so was I. I was one of them. I was hoping, and so after this discovery, uh, now I'm pre-wrath tribulation, pre-wrath. That the wrath comes at the sixth seal, from what from what I've gathered. Is I'll quickly read that part, because the sixth seal speaks about the wrath of the Lamb, and I'll just quick quickly read that part. So it's chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and the rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who is able to stand? So that was yeah. So no pre-trib after um, the Lord nudged me and led me literally, and I'm gonna walk you through the process that how he showed me to find the first seal and then the second seal. I actually found he led me to the first seal and the second seal. I couldn't find a third one, and then I found the fourth seal, and I was tired. I was already tired when he said, because I was laying in bed. It was almost like a prayer. I was like, Lord, like this community, we're looking for it, and we just can't find it. We're missing something. Can't find the sign of the rapture, and so I got a nudge, and it was like the still small voice said, "Go back to the beginning," and I'm laying in bed, and I once I felt and heard that, I couldn't sleep, so I got up, opened up the laptop, opened up Stellarium, went right back to Revelation 12 sign, and I started. So I'm just gonna say that, and I'll put on Stellarium, and I'll take over from there. Okay. So we are in the Revelation 12 sign, and we're going to follow Jupiter, because Jupiter's the one telling the story, or the man-child, or Jesus. So we're going to go forward in time. I can show you. So I just wanted to explain a few things. One thing, Jupiter, how it represents Jesus. If you look at a picture of Jupiter, it's striped, and there's a round hole there, and it's like oblong, and it looks like what he went through for us. And Isaiah 53:5 actually it mentions it. I'll read that. Isaiah 53:5, and it goes, "But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed." So yeah, the stripes from the whip, and the wound from the spear, that sounds like Jesus, right? And Jupiter takes 12 years to go through the constellations. So there's like 12 years, 12 disciples, another indicator. The constellations themselves, there's a story of Christ in them, and there's a story before Christ comes, and there's a story after Christ comes. So there's with those constellations, and I don't have time to tell you those stories, but you can look them up, and they're there. I will say that, like the Virgo in the Revelation 12 sign, that's the Virgin. She has holding wheat in her hand, and those seeds are the seeds of the promised Messiah. And there's Leo, which is a lion, the lion of the tribe of Judah. You have other ones like Aries. Aries is a lamb, which is a ram, a male lamb. It's just the sign. It's telling you the story of Christ up there, and there's an elliptical. There's 88 constellations, but and the elliptical is where the sun, the moon, sun and the moon, and Venus and Mercury always stay with the sun. They don't linger far from the sun. They're always around the sun. So it's like a 3-in-1 package deal there. So you got the sun with Mercury, Venus together. The moon goes around the elliptical. Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So we are in the Revelation 12 sign, and we're going to follow Jupiter, because Jupiter's the one telling the story, or the man-child, or Jesus. So we're going to go forward in time. I can show you. And Jupiter is going forward. then it slows down and stops, begins to retrograde, go backwards in the womb again, and it'll slow down again, and it'll stop, and then it'll slowly go forward again. And we're almost to September 23rd, 2017, the Revelation 12 sign. So we have the Virgin clothed in the sun, the moon at her feet, and a crown of 12 stars. I'm going to get rid of the artwork for a moment so we can just count the stars in the lion. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we have the wandering stars to make up the last 3, 10, 11, 12. And that completes the sign. And the Sun, Mercury, and Venus, close proximity. They always stay together as a 3-in-1 package deal. And then you have Mars, the enemy, and Jupiter. So that is the Revelation 12 sign in a nutshell. So I wanted to read the Revelation 12 sign. It's in Revelation chapter 12. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head was a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads, and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. So that's like quick. It's like a very quick story about Jesus' birth, born in Bethlehem, and he has to run. They have to run him to Egypt to avoid Herod and being murdered there, and then he comes and leaves Egypt and ends up going to Nazareth. And then we know he grows up, he gets 12 disciples, disciples them, then he's persecuted, crucified, 3 days later, resurrected, and 40 days later, ascension. So that's basically that in a nutshell. And what I showed you there was the Jupiter spent 40 weeks in the womb of the Virgin, and then it came out. That was pretty amazing, because if you go back like thousands of years or forward thousands of years, you won't see that, especially with the 12 stars, because there's only 9 stars in the lion, and Mercury, Mars, and Venus make up the other 3 for the jewels in the crown, so to speak. And that's that in a nutshell. And so yeah, I just needed to fill you in on that part. So I'm going to read chapter 6 of Revelation, what it says about the first seal. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. So we're going to follow Jupiter, the man-child, Jesus. We're going to follow him, see where he takes us, because that's how I felt when I was getting the nudges from the Lord to start all over again, because I felt like we were missing something. So started all over, went right back to the Revelation 12 sign, and I was nudged to follow Jupiter, and just see where it takes me. So that's what I did. Just kept following Jupiter, watching it. So I was making note, I was writing everything down. Anytime Jupiter had a conjunction, like this one coming up, that's Jupiter and the Sun, and then Mercury, all in the conjunction. I write all this down, but this didn't, it didn't bring up anything scriptural to me of any significance. So I just kept on looking, kept following Jupiter, and kept following him. And as Jupiter started approaching the rider on the horse, and the Venus, Sun, Mercury was coming in, and I was going like day by day, one day, like click, 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 day by day. The Jupiter and Venus, and then you got the new moon there, but that wasn't it. Jupiter kept getting closer to the top of the head of the rider. The Sun's getting closer, and I've had time to analyze this, and I realized that the Sun getting closer to it, making that horse brighter, and then the moon comes in, and the moon comes in and creates an eclipse. So I had to go and check out which eclipse this was. So it was an annular eclipse. And I was like, wow, isn't that cool? Boy, this really reminds me of something now. And I was thinking Revelation chapter 6, verse 1, where the seal's broken, and the rider on a white horse, and the sun, when the sun was coming in, because if you back it up a day, it's right on top of this rider, making it bright white. And Jupiter's there, the sun's there, and you bring it in, and then you have this eclipse. Well, he's like, that eclipse, it looks like a crown. It's a crown. I was like, well, what else was special about this day? So I looked this day up, like, oh, December 26, 2019. I remember what I was doing. I was looking after my family then, because they were all really sick, except for me and the baby. But I had 6 sick people, and I put them all in one room, so I only have to clean up one room. Put everybody in the living room and fold down the futon, and that's had everybody there. They were sick, had fevers for 5 days straight. So look this up. What happened in the world around December 2019? And what do we have here? First human cases of COVID in December. So I was like, okay, so I'll do some research. What does corona even mean? And it means crown or wreath, and that eclipse sure looks like a crown, and this sure looks like it's chapter 6 verses 1 and 2, where a rider on a white horse is given a bow, and then, or with a bow, given a crown. Rider on a white horse with a bow, given a crown to go forth and conquering and to conquer. And I think we all know a little bit about this here, and about the conquering. So this was, for me, after looking at all the other conjunctions, this one stood out, and I believe with all my heart now that the Lord led me to this, and I thought, okay, well, this is good, but this won't mean anything unless I can find the other 3. So we will go and do that. So I'll read the next seal. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given him a great sword. And this one, I read it in another version. This one is it's from my English, Greek, and interlinear New Testament. They use the New Revised Standard Version, and yeah, because sometimes you can just get a little bit of more information from it. And yeah, that's what we're doing. We're looking for information, definitely. So, Revelation 6, and we are at, okay, over here, okay. All right. And when he opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature call out, "Come!" And out came another horse, bright red. Its rider was permitted to take peace from the earth, so that the people would slaughter one another, and he was given a great sword. That was that's the second seal. We'll get back into Stellarium. So we'll continue on following Jupiter to see where Jupiter will lead us. So Jupiter's closing in on Saturn, and then we got Mars closing in on Jupiter. So Mars gets closer and closer to Jupiter, just about to conjunct. And right here, we have the moon coming in. I mean, this could be it here, but I think March 20th is a tighter conjunction. Like, it's really tight there. So the sun's not here anymore, so it's not a white horse anymore, but Mars is here, and Mars is red, and Jupiter's telling the story. So Mars being red, this is your rider on a red horse. And it's just convenient that it happened after the white one, just like the order in Revelation chapter 6. So I want to investigate, well, what's the deal with March 20th? So you look at the timeline, and March 20th. Well, there was the outbreak, and it declared a pandemic on the 11th of March. And so, okay, that's pretty close to the 20th. So then what else happened? So you look here, and we have lockdowns by country. So these beginning with the first one, China and in Italy in March. And so you look down here, the very first country, and on the 19th of March 2020, President Alberto Fernandez announced mandatory lockdown to curb the spread. And it would take effect on the 20th of March. So we have another coincidence, which this kind of coincidences, I don't think it's a coincidence, if you know what I'm saying. So this here, to me, this is the rider on a red horse, and that would be Revelation chapter 6, verses 3 and 4. So I want to read the next, the third seal. And when he had opened the third seal, and I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he sat on him, had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." And the New Revised Standard Version It says, when he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature call out, "Come." And I looked, and there was a black horse. Its rider held a pair of scales in his hand, and I heard what seemed to be a voice in the midst of the four living creatures say, "A quart of wheat for a day's pay, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's pay, but do not damage the olive oil and the wine." So we'll get back into Stellarium. So, we're going to follow Jupiter once again. And see where it takes us. We're going to follow it. It stops, retrograde. Just when you think Jupiter was going to leave the rider on the horse, comes backwards into it. Pauses there. And Saturn is a slow moving one. It's like the eyeball. It can be in the witness for the red rider too. And Jupiter coming in to conjunct with Saturn. Then you have other things coming in here. So we'll see what's going on. This one I actually missed the first time looking for these. I found the first seal, white horse, the red one. I missed the black one, this one here, and I didn't find it till the next day when my wife actually helped me find it, because when you read it, it says a black rider with the scales. As you can see here, I don't see any scales. And she told me to move it or zoom out and look for the scales, and here we are here. There's the scales. Jupiter is conjuncting with Saturn, and what do we have coming here? Well, we have an eclipse just about to take place. Let's keep adjusting here. Just doing it hour by hour until it is totally eclipsed. And that's what it is. It's a total eclipse. Not an annular eclipse, but a total blackout eclipse. A black eclipse. You got a rider on a horse. A black eclipse. Take a look here. This is it here on December 14th, 2020. It's a solar eclipse, and it is a total solar eclipse. Total black. And if you notice where Jupiter and Saturn conjunct, you have the eclipse halfway between Jupiter and Saturn and the scales, Venus here. This is your black rider. Total eclipse, Jupiter, Saturn, coming right after the red one. So you have the white, red, and now this is the black. So what does the black one say? Pardon me. The black rider, what does it say? Well, it talks about the cost of food being very expensive. Some versions of the Bible says it's a day's wages for a loaf of bread, or day's wages for 3 barley loaves. So we'll look this up. And December 2020, I'm from Canada. Notice here, 2020 December, and you got inflation. Right from here, it just starts to go up exponentially, really quickly. So check out other countries. We have UK, end of the year of the UK, and it just skyrockets. And France, end of 2020, and it's doing the same thing. So we have another coincidence. And at this point, I just think this is it. This is Black Rider, the black eclipse, Jupiter and Saturn conjuncting, and right here you have the scales. Black Rider, a rider on a black horse with the holding the balances or the scales. And it makes sense with the scriptures talking about inflation, cost of food being a lot, and these charts would agree to that. So I thought, okay, it's all well and fine, but you need all four, so let's go and find the fourth one. So I'm going to read the fourth seal. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. That was the King James. This is the New Revised Standard. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth living creature call out, "Come." I looked, and there was a pale green horse. Its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed with him. They were given authority over a fourth of the earth to kill with sword, famine, and pestilence, and by the wild animals of the earth. So, back in the Stellarium. So, after three horses, the white, the red, and the black, I started following Jupiter, and it was leaving the rider on the horse area, and I'll show you. So I decided to, when it was leaving, I decided that I wanted to stick around in the rider on the horse to see if something was going to happen while Jupiter was going on. And I believe that Jupiter is going on to prepare it for the fifth seal and carry on the story. I have no proof of that yet because I haven't been looking for the fifth seal, but it's just a feeling in the spirit, and I'm sensitive to the spirit, and that's just how I feel. So I stuck around the rider on the horse. So we're gonna stick here and see what happens. And just keep centering it, and wait to see what's gonna happen. You're gonna see the moon zip through here a few times. Moon, moon, moon. Yeah, and oh, we got Venus coming in, and the moon again. I thought something was gonna happen with the sun, the moon, and Mercury. Thought that'd be cool, but that wasn't to be. So Venus and Mercury kind of set up these goalposts. Call them goalposts because you got this. We have a comet coming in now, which is very very coincidental. C2021 A1 Leonard, and he's gonna go through these goalposts right into the rider on a horse. So obviously it's like, okay, now I gotta check out what this comet looks like. And so some versions of have a Greek English interlinear New Testament, and it calls the fourth horse a pale green horse. And when you're looking at this comet, it is pale green, coincidentally. And at this point, if I'm still thinking it's a coincidence, then I'm at the point where I just don't want to believe it. But I have no choice but to believe that. I'll be honest with you. I'm a pre-trib guy. I'm a pre-tribulation rapture guy, hoping, and looking for signs to point to it, and eventually stumbling across the first four seals and the first four horses. So what does this? So yeah, okay. So it's a coincidence. Okay, what does it mean? Yeah, we got to get to that too, right? So it means when you read it, it's talking about 1/4 of the earth. It's talking about death and pestilence, and so we looked up the date. It's December 2021. So just wrapping up. So get some headlines here. And we have just after December, the first of the year. We're at the end of the year, so we're at the first of the year. A couple of weeks later, we have insurance companies saying that death rates have gone up 40%. We have this one. I think it's The Hill. Huge numbers. Insurance groups see death rates go up 40% over pre-pandemic levels. So that I have to be careful what I say at this point, because I don't it's very sensitive and I don't want to get this video taken off. But this was around the time when I remember athletes like spontaneously like falling down and people collapsing, and so there's that too. But that's all I'm going to say about that, because I think this is enough right here. It's enough for me to believe that the Revelation 12 sign was there for a reason, and that if you follow the story, it leads to the four horses. So I'm going to leave it at that. Hey, I just wanted to say that I didn't make this video to frighten anyone. I made it to actually so you're informed, that you know ahead of time, as God shows us the end from the beginning, and it's through the knowledge of the scriptures that we don't have to fear. We don't have to fear. This just gives us more information, lets us know where we're at. The reason why I did want to show people was multi-layered reason. One was I want this out there so that there's an urgency to tell others, because time is short. Because if you haven't gone out and told anyone, now's the time to let people know that Jesus is coming back. And if you're watching and you don't have the Lord Jesus, and you're not following him, and he's not in your life, then today is the day. Yeah, today is that day. And I can help you right now, and you can just listen, and in your own time You can ask Him into your life. First thing you need to do is admit that you're a sinner and ask for forgiveness. As it is written, there is no one righteous, not even one. But God demonstrates His own love for us in this, that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Next, you need to believe that Jesus died for you and then rose again 3 days later. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, so that whosoever believes in Him shall have everlasting life. He shall not perish. Confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. Confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, for it is with your heart that you believe and you are justified, and it is with your mouth that you confess and are saved. And I hope you are. And if you're not, then today is a day. If you've been thinking about this at any point in your life, today is the day, because things are going to get worse before they get better. And if you're here, I don't want to say any more to scare people or if anyone is scared, but those seals that are open, they're open and they're going forth, just like the first one. It says going out, conquering and to conquer. The peace that being taken from earth it's just going to get worse. The food, the inflation situation, it's just going to get worse. Things aren't going to get better. I wish there is a hope. There is a hope, and the hope is in Jesus. That is the hope. He is the door. He is like the ark when Noah was here. Jesus is the door, the same way the ark was the way to escape the wrath that's to come. And the last seal, that just the death in different ways, the pestilence, just the straight up, like, the too many ways to say on here, and to be sensitive about it. I'll just leave it at that. But yes, if you don't have Jesus and you've thought about it, today is the day. And I want to thank all the community out there, the Watchmen and Watchwomen community that looking for the rapture, and we will continue to do that, because He is the Lord Jesus Christ is our blessed hope, and He is going to take us, and that is a good reason to be saved today, because before the wrath, before the bad things, I mean, there's already some bad things happen, and I know you all felt it, and so did I, and but yeah, there's worse to come, and before the wrath of the Lamb comes, get saved, and you will be gone, like in the twinkling of an eye. We will be gone, and we'll be meeting Him in the clouds. Anyway, I love you. Thanks for watching. Share this with others, please. Get the word out. You're allowed to, anybody can use this. Like, I recommend, please do use this, and if you want to put clips of it in one of your videos, that would be awesome. Get the word out, and I can't wait to see you all in the clouds. God bless you all. I love you.